So thank you, Salomé, for the invitation. And pardon my bad English as well. When you live in the countryside, you don't speak English that much actually. So you really lose your, very quickly you lose your language. So this really small conference, 40 minutes, have two subjects. The first one is what we want is free, and the second one is we are the landscape. So our small cooperative as well, Collectif Encore and landscape architects, it's called Encore. And Encore means, you can say it in English of course, it's even better, it's Encore. Encore, it means of course more, once again, but what is more important is that it means ongoing. It means that the work of an architect is not something that have a start and an end. It's just that you work just coming in for a while, and if you're doing really good, this project will continue building after that you have been there. And it was already there, so you just have to really look and do as little as possible and to make it work even better. And Encore is really beautiful as well, of course. Encore is that every time you finish a project you could say Encore, so you have the force to start again. And actually Encore, when you do this, when you have a public and somebody, if you have a person, when you're clapping your hands, you know what it means? It's actually to make the enthusiasm, this interaction come back again. Somebody's singing and you want them to come back again. So yes, clapping your hands and say, come on again. So this is really this interaction, and I think this is really what architecture is about. It's about interaction. It's about applauding to each other and saying, yeah, great, come again. And to really to think about this and to work with this first of all. This is kind of invisible experiences. We start with that. And the other thing I think is really important today is this is pictures I have for like, I guess 20 years now. I have it with me all the time. And sometimes this picture can mean so much for you. And it's not always that you could, this enthusiasm that I feel when I see this picture. Maybe I can't give it to you, but I will try. Actually, this picture is taking a photo. It's exactly the same moment. It's just place yourself 1 meter to the other side. And you see that everything changes. And this thing is to say that today, that maybe the biggest changes in life is not just physical changes like architecture and cities, but it could also be that we started to see something in another way. And that's what we need to do today. So we're going to talk a little bit how to look at the world and our position today. So that's the first part. And I really like your Rurapolis, because actually my first office, I really like names, my first office that I had in Sweden was called Apolis. Yes. And this name was because the polis, of course, it's a gathering of, that's a real city. That's a city that you can't just live outlaws because your house is not finished or something. This is the real city that you have to be. It's not the outlaws. But apolit, so the apolit who lived in the polis, they were called polit. And then there was this apolit. The apolit were the people who lived in between the cities. So this apolis, the idea was to start a city with all these people who didn't have to find their place. And in one way, if you want to see the world in a new way, you have to move just 1 meter. So it was kind of a way to say to myself that I will never find my place. I will start moving around all the time to look at the world for the first time every time. And our office we are we are more than 4, now we're 8, but in the beginning we were 4 working together. And so we are the landscape architect is and he has been staying in Japan really for a long time, and we started Encore, we stayed in Japan for a long time. And one way of seeing the landscape is the way of the occidental landscape. It's called keikan in Japanese. And it means the view, it means a scene, it means like an object. It's to look at the landscape like something which is outside yourself. It's like you are not a part of the landscape. And this way of seeing the landscape is also to see it as an object. It's something that is not alive, if you can understand. But the Japanese way of seeing it, fukai it's called, it means the wind is the breath. And actually is this kind of interaction, these things that's in between us, and it means also that we are the part of the landscape. You can't just see the trees or the grass, we are a part. So if you're designing landscape, you have to take an action, as you are doing with your projects, that we are working with the people. So the landscapes and the work is one together, and seeing ourselves as a part of is to work with ourselves. So that is really to talk about what architecture can do more than how it looks like. So that was a really long introduction for 40 minutes. So I will have to go really more quickly. So we say in Bern and in Valle where we are living, we say that the sustainable city is a village. Or actually, we say that the sustainable village is maybe several villages that could be connected together. Like where we live, and we always show this part that you see, La Bastille-Villefranche, it's our city where we live, and it's completely in the center of our department. So maybe Biarritz, they were the center, or maybe more, but actually we are the center. So there you can see the middle of the department. And we are working in Bern and in Basque Country. Here is our plan of buildings that we have done, that we're doing, that we're working with. So actually the work we have it's a very, very big project, you can see. It's actually the whole department that we are trying to reactivate and work with. And we don't have the same problem as here, because we don't have villages that is completely empty. But the problem with our village in Bern is that the village is empty, and on the other side you have a carpet, a villa carpet. And that is, it's horrible, because in France they think that it's so expensive to renovate the building, so it's less expensive to construct something new. And we talk about this, and this goes about economy and how to do. So it's this thing that we are working, we try to prevent to construct something new, and just really say, stop constructing, start renovating, and how to renovate less expensive than construct something new. So that is what we are trying to do, and also to say that the sustainable village, a sustainable city can never be as sustainable as a village, because of course, as we're talking about, to use what you have. If you see our village, La Bastille-Villefranche, that's where we live, and all the small numbers of projects that we're working with. And we live in Haute-Rive, we live in La Bastille-Villefranche, and we are working in Haute-Rive, so it's really close. If you take the bicycle, it's like 5 minutes walk. This is so interesting. You got all these small villages so close to each other, and in between you got all the food just growing. find a way of working together, this village will be completely incredible. It's not yet, but we are working on it. And actually, I will talk about several projects, and I'm not going into it too details because I really want to show you just a little bit what we are doing. I guess maybe also this project has been so much. Maybe you have seen this project, Ure. Have you seen it already? Lots of. You have maybe even heard about it. So I don't have to talk about it almost now. What do you say? Have you seen it? Have you heard about it already? No, you don't. I do very. I try to do it quickly. Actually, and I'm sorry for those who have the feeling that I'm repeating myself. So this was a farm, an old farmhouse. And when we came in to this farmhouse for the first time, it's our house where we're living. It looked like this. And what was so incredible was that the roof had fallen down. And when the roof had fallen down, the house was completely transformed into a forest. And this space was like a clearing. And I remember the first thing when Julia and me, when we came in with our daughters, we just said, okay, we should not destroy this. We have to keep it all. So what we did, we kept the hole in the roof, so the light would keep getting in, so we had a real clearing. And we put all the windows outside the walls, so when we open the windows, they completely disappears. So in this way, this way of living, you live completely outside, inside, and within the landscape. You are completely part of the landscape, and the landscape is completely part of your house. So here you can see the windows which we put outside, and some of them we put it inside, so the house could start growing completely. You can see one with the small where it starts growing inside. And we always say that we don't have to construct the sunset. It's so stupid to say, of course, we don't have to do that. But say that, for example, to Jean Nouvel, when you see his buildings, he thinks that he has to construct the sunset. This way of being an architect, you think that your house has to fulfill this amazing thing that the sun's doing, but you don't have to do that. You just have to let it be a part of the building, and when it really is a part of the building, if you really think about it, then your building is changing all the time. The light is changing, and it's changing on the summer, on the winter, and of course it will change during time as well. And then also, I'm going to do this faster. I feel that I'm not doing this faster enough. So, building for birds. Actually, I always show this image because it's so shitty image. You can see the bird, you can't take photos of birds. And that's also why maybe if we can take them a photo, and the photos is so important in our architecture today, we don't talk about birds enough. And actually we talk much more on windows, but birds are much more incredible to have in your house than a window actually. It's much more interesting to look at and talk about, and it's much more lighter. So if you really think about birds when you're doing your project, and make a place for them so that they are a part of the building, they will stay there. Their likeness will be a part of your building. And actually we will also got a family of kites living. So on our when we are having dinner, we have the kites flying over the dinner table. And of course it's growing everywhere. So I'm going a little bit faster. And growing is changing, of course. I'm going faster. Okay, I just said a little, because eco-services. I talk about eco-services. So what we're doing is to let the sun in directly directly and not have any sun cells or solar panels is to say that the sun, if you have a big walls, that 80 centimeters stone wall, you let the sun come in directly and it could heat the wall, and in the summertime you're heating your house with the sun for a big part. And in the wintertime we have a heating system with a pump, air and water pump. So we have a heating system under the floor. So in the winter, the floor and the walls is getting like a stove because the heat is going up in the walls. And so we don't have any AC system, no mechanical system of ventilation. Everything is completely natural, because if the heating system are in the stove, I can open the window without that the heat just flow away. Because if you heat the air, you open the window, you are actually heating for the birds. and so this thing so we didn't isolate the stone inside the building, because if you insulate your stones inside the building, you lose the inertia. And this inertia is of course very important when you're heating the building, but it's even more important during summertime, because they are keeping the cold in the summertime. So of course we have solar that we can store in the summertime. But when it's like 40 degrees outside, inside it could be really, really cold. And this is today so important. It is so important to think also, if you put all houses together, if you take Paris for example, all the houses together that they insulated inside. Could you imagine all the cold air that we had before, that we don't have anymore? And what they are doing also, of course they put AC inside, because they can't live in Paris in summertime. So then it's getting even heater. And they don't understand why it's so hot in Paris actually. It's this thing to try to do good and not doing that good. Constructors to have more. We didn't understand that it was so big, the house. So it was like 700 square meters, and we had 300,000 euro for the whole house. So it was really to say that 50% of the house should be completely outside. This was a way, of course, so you're not heating the half of the place. We live in the Bastion there, we can be completely outside all the time. You just need a roof, of course. You need a roof so that it's not raining on to you, and you need also a place where the sun can come in, and of course the sun is low in winter time and it's coming in and heating the walls, so in winter time it's hot all winter, and in summertime the sun is high up and it's completely cold even outside. And actually what you have is also that you have the garden, and this garden is not a beautiful view of the garden. We took just a part of the forest closest behind, and of course we put some other plants in it. And this forest gives also freshness, of course. It's so important to build and work with that. And now it's more looking at this actually. So it's also just I show you some of the images how this is a very nice place to work on, of course. A roof can also be a place where you can sit down. I'm not talking about that, I don't have the time. So here is on the west side of the house. And it was really it didn't cost a lot to just take out, to take out the walls and have a terrace for 80 square meters outside as well. The best place to look at the sunset. One of the family members is in a wheelchair, and we didn't put elevator, but a ramp and worked with the tourists could go the whole way from the outside. And this was also to say that how the building is evolving during time. It was like this before when we started, and we were really happy. We thought it was really beautiful, and now it's like this actually. So in June, you have to smell June. Actually, you can do that on photos, of course. Every place we have an inside place and a nice town place. So we do have an inside bathroom, but we also have an outside bathroom. And of course, this is I can say that it's the most beautiful roof. No, you don't see the most beautiful ceiling in the vestibule of a bathroom, because you have the stars in the night, of course. So just go out in the night time, go to the toilet and look at the stars. It's give you the right scale of your life and the world actually. And taking a bath when it's raining is really cool. And under this bathroom, you have this bathroom, which was looking like this. And it was actually 25 square meters bathroom. And this is also an economical way of doing, because if you have a bathroom like it's 25, you could say, wow, that is very big. But then it's not a bathroom anymore, actually. It's a living room, it's a library, it's a place to play. And actually, when you're renovating, if you want to do economy, you can't think like ordinary houses. If you think an ordinary house is to say, okay, then I need to have a small bathroom, and then you have to make a hole in these walls. If you make a hole in these walls, it's going to cost like 1,500 euros. So to not make a hole, to not make a wall, that's the way of doing. To just do less and live with it, and then suddenly letting the house, designing itself, and then you couldn't imagine it yourself. You just have to live with it. And there you can see the section, and it's a dormitory. When we got lots of people, this was the dormitory. So it's a very big beds up and down, so that you can have like 20 people sleeping if you really have a party or something. And here you can see from the other side. I'm very happy with my builders. And after. And actually, the way of construction also, all the furniture is just a way of constructing furniture so that they can do several things. They can be stairs, they can be handrail, it can be a bed and the thing besides the bed, etc. And it's also that I really think that, how do you say, in piano in English, it's two birds. Two birds once. That's of course we like the birds, but anyway, two birds in one stone. And actually, I don't like things that just can do one thing. Of course, that's not economical. So 100, it can just do one thing actually. And especially when you're small, you can't even see over it. You're like here. But if you do putting a big net, then you can use it as a playground, a place of sleeping, and if you can use it for several things. And it's also that the light is going on, and you can't count the square meters for the tax. So here you got the house in the beginning, when it was first, and then the house how it was after. And so we say that this is a manifesto for a living house. And when we say that the house is alive, it's also that you have been thinking of everything who lives inside the house, but also outside the house, and all the trees and all the nature. And when you do this, the house continues growing and continues surprising you every day. And it's also, if you say that the house is alive and the village is alive, and even a city, even if I don't think cities are so much alive, even cities are alive, then it could also be happy. And happiness is of course something that you could give away. So this is a way of renovating in a very economical and good way instead of doing villa carpet, not villa carpets. Yeah. And then I will talk about. I will do this much more quick. Yeah, because now we just have 25 minutes. Done. So this is our. So just 5 minutes away, we have our office, and it was that building that you see in the middle. And it was an old, I don't know the word in English actually, old tannery. It's where you make the skins of leather and these kinds of things. So it's really close to the water, as you can see. So before and after, so that's, you can see the office from the outside. And actually what we did, the house was, they got very small windows. And everything was very, lots of furniture and everything, so it was not very easy to see the potential of the project in the beginning. And there were small apartments in one of it, because in the beginning there was this kind of making leathers, but then it was a small, 2 small apartments. And we just took out all the walls, which was not walls that was constructing walls, and then we just open up the small windows, and we just put them all the way down. Because if you put them all the way down, then you could go out, and we worked with the same way of just putting the sliding doors outside. So if you open it, you have the feeling that you're completely outside. And then we made it the first room, which is the most important room for our community, is that we could, and this is, I had one conference which was called Bern is the New Berlin. And it's really this thing that in the countryside where we live, there are lots of empty places. And we can afford for our office to have this room empty. And why? What is good for something empty? It's because it's possible. It's architecture the best place to be, actually, because we never know. It's like Virginia Woolf, she said, the future is uncertain, and that's the best thing the future can be. Because when something is uncertain, we got all the possibilities to do something. So we got a whole space that is uncertain. We never know what's going to happen. So all this association, because it's the same in Bern and in Bastia, when they have one idea together, they have an association. They can come and be there, and it's also this thing that you saw that Biarritz and Pau, they are so far away, and they are very often working together. But luckily now we are in the middle, so they can come and meet in the center in our small village. So suddenly it's like putting a place to be for all the communities. It could be the department working department. They are working in the coast and in Pau as well, for example. So they could come and work in our place. And we got a kitchen, was a very big kitchen that is still it's a kitchen, a library, and a workspace, and places to all the kids as well, of course. And where you can see also, of course, you have the river area. And then upstairs in the office we have a place which is a meeting room. And this meeting room is just it's very simple. It's a very big table, and around the table we have these places to sit on. We just made them a little bit more, like 80 centimeters, so you can sleep all around. And actually, so in the office, just doing a little bit more, suddenly everybody can sleep after lunch in the office. So it's like a kindergarten sleeping. And then also, if people are coming, they can also sleep over there. You can sleep over in the night, and people just passing by. This is open up also for lots of people. So it's of course our office, but it's also kind of a public space that you can be. So this is really what architecture not look like. It's really what it can just very small things that can change the life completely. And then of course it's the same thing with this interaction with the surroundings, and to having the water so close to it, and also to so here you can see in this morning how the sun is going around, coming up in the morning, going around. Of course you can see the Pyrenees. This is our office space where we are working, and we made a hole in the wall so that we connected to the Pyrenees. So here is when we're working, actually we can open on both sides. So we are sitting we just have a roof actually, and we're sitting outside working all the time. And what is really interesting is with the Ure, we have to, in summertime, to keep the cold, we close everything to keep it, because of the 80 centimeters stone walls, it gives so much coldness. But here it's so nice to have the river on one side, and it's getting of course colder in summertime in the river, and hotter. It's more hot in the wintertime. So we have this. Actually, we are working outside all the time, in winter and in summertime, and it's just to working with microclimate and the sun, because this is the same place as in Valle. If you have the sun really low in wintertime, the sun is coming in wintertime, and we have this roof going out really far away. So in summertime, the sun is up. So I'm not going into more than just showing you how you live with how the changes, and you live with this nature all the time around you. And also that we try to keep, of course, we did make a big hole, of course, but for example, you can see the tree, the wooden store, that everything that you can keep, you keep it. And on the upper floor or the ceiling, we put the insulation up over on the top, so we could keep all the structure. And then again, you see all the birds living at this place. So you're living close to this birds. And this is the question, of course, always to think about who we are building for. And of course, it happens twice that the river just got up really high. So the last, we just live in both the 2 second floors, not in the floor which is really on the gap, because of course it will always get this. So that's of course, what I mean. We have to not just change our way of looking things, we have to change our way of building, and so this is Autoriv, our village, you can see before and after. And this building actually, the 80 centimeters stone walls, we didn't insulate them at all actually. Here we did beton chambre, so it's hampa and how do you say it? It's hamp, yeah. So I guess you know that. So you just put the hamp outside, and actually very often you put the hamp inside because you could regulate when it's humid. But if you put them outside, you keep the inertia of the wall, of the stone wall inside. So I think it's better to put it outside actually. So this is what we did on this building, and it's what I'm you can see first. And of course it's a small forest. We had a small forest like that. And then I will just say very quickly. Yeah, I have 6 minutes. Yeah. So tablets. This is 15 social housing. It's a Château d'Aguerre. It's a castle in Tablets, not far from, not that far from here actually, not far from, what can I say, what is really well known from here, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. And actually there were social housing builder, you can say that they had already tried to do a project on this project, so that's why I'm showing you. We are the building, the construction site will start, I think, in December or January, actually. And they actually did one project, and on this the project they did, they find 600 square meters of places to live in this house, on this castle, and of course when they did the economic, they had all the calculation for the economic. They were not able to construct it. It cost too much, really too much, and so they asked us to look at it, and we looked at it really thoroughly, and it took a lot of time. And then we find 1,000 square meters to live in. Yes, but thinking differently. And this is really the thing of how to do it economic, because this is one thing which is important. If we want to renovate and not construct normally, we have to think differently. And the first thing is that you can't economize the time you're spending on site, on the building. And you have to be on site. You have to be local architect. You can't be an architect coming from somewhere else and working in a village. You have to be cool and nice. You have to live there because you have to know the people who are constructing, and you have to spend lots of time. And actually, you have to have been spending lots of time on in the surrounding to know the weather, to know how you could do, how you could spare material. And it's also that in France we have all these rules that you almost have to build a new house in an old house when you're building something. And of course it costs much more because it's really difficult actually to build a new house in an old house. And all the qualities and possibilities that you have in this old house will vanish. So what we are doing, that we are passing lots of time in all these old houses to see the possibilities, to see also the problems, because sometimes the problems are really what are going to be the great qualities. And then we're also going through all these rules, and we are also very often trying to do outlaws project, but of course this is kind of a public house, public social housing in public, so we have to be in the laws and following the rules. It's not like our house, they were completely outlaw, because it was our house and we did everything like we wanted to. That's why it is so amazing and so good actually, because you have to be really good. You have to go outlaw today. But we are trying to change these rules so that everything will be as good as our house, our own house actually. But what we're looking at, accessibility, fire regulation, thermal insulation and acoustic comfort, all these things, to not look at something abstract, but something real. That's something that has to have real qualities, and just to think about everything in a really just common sense, maybe radical common sense, but just to think about what you need, and in this way too. So how to find this 400 square meters that we find is that we didn't put an elevator, because for 2 floors you can go inside in 2 ways. And we say that we have to be the space lawyers actually as architects. We can't just be saying, oh, there are too much rules. You never had a lawyer saying that there were too much rules, of course. We just have to find things to go around them and a way of doing it. So actually we didn't put an elevator. We could have two floors, the basement floor plans, that they were completely real houses with their proper gardens. And then on the upper floor, on the other floor, that you can see, so on the first floor you have these houses, and on the other floor you can also go inside. And then you just have 2 floors, upper floors, that you can't go in with an elevator, but for the accessibility, half of the house you have accessibility. And this is also to decide that if we put an elevator, if you live in a social housing, who could pay for an elevator? You know, if you're really poor, do you really want to pay for that? And for the energy and the cost of it. So try to think about other things, and that's not said that we not should use accessibility for our houses, but we have to try to find the best way. So 50% accessibility, then it's good. And when we are renovating, we can think about this thing, and to have a real way of having houses, having private gardens and gardens that you're sharing, and really have a real way of living together that is better than this villa concept that the French people really likes apparently. And so inside of the house is also to say that we accept, like for example, to accept to have an old floor. Everybody wants to have a super nice old floor, of course. But actually, what these people do in social housing, they are, but no, it has to be new. It's kind of, they have these kinds of standards. So of course, everything has to be new. So it's really to say that, the wall has to be completely straight. It can go round. The floor doesn't have to be completely. It can be low floor, and it's good with that. So looking at everything and just sell it once again, so that they see that all these qualities and we keep it. And of course, then we earn lots of money because it's economic to keep things. And you will also have to think that why do they want us to concentrate on materials? New materials, things of constructive, it's because someone is always having something to sell, of course. So all this thing is to not doing anything. That is, of course, the most economical way of doing it. But there are lots of people who is not, they are not completely, that's not what they want us to do. Then, of course, I don't have the time to talk about this, but we are working, of course, with the transports. The BM and the Basque country is not working. There were a reason for the yellow west. The yellow west. We can't. We don't. For Alabasta Village French, we don't have not one bus. Not one. Could you imagine? Go to Paris. Do they have one bus? But we say very simple, we will take 1% of their transports and take it to our department. And then we will just take 1% of their culture life and take it to our department. And then our department will be much more incredible than Paris, because we got everything. so we don't need more than 1,000 actually. But we are still struggling with the transports, of course. This is, you can see how the transport was before. It was the train before in France. You could go everywhere by train. Now it's like this. And it's not even like this actually, because you don't, even for us, we don't even have our trains to go to Paris anymore actually. They stop at Bordeaux. And then of course we got, next time I will talk about Laminateri, which is another project which is really interesting. I just show you. It's we are building in silos, and doing a third space. And I will tell you about Don't Miss the Gorilla, but that's another story. But it will be even more fun to talk about this when it's done, actually. I think so. No. But I really didn't want to talk about Ure actually. Normally I thought I put it in the end, because actually it's really, I said so because I was talking about, I had an interview this morning, I said we can't do it short. We can't talk about our project short. We are big, big, they have one-liner, and their houses are one-liners, but our houses aren't one-liner. It's impossible actually, it's impossible to talk about them if you're not, you need several hours for every house. Talk about every bird. So I just want to talk about this. What we want is free. Because, this was in Swedish, but actually free, it's free in English, in French we have gratuit et libre. So what is in Spanish? Do we have free in Spanish? Like for one word for the both of it, because it's gratuit et libre. That is really important, because gratuit in French is like something bad, but free is the best thing in the world, So it's really interesting, and you just have words that interest you in the language. So you could ask if in France if they are not interested in things that are for free, or is there really anything which is for free in France if you don't have the word? No, you could really ask yourself that. But we are trying to get the free. I love this thing also. Pourquoi il y a quelque chose plutôt que rien? Parce que le rien ne se vendait pas. So why is there something rather than nothing? Nothing didn't sell. And actually, I really want you to say to this thing that an architect, our first material, is not earth. It's not wood, it's le rien, it's the nothing, it's the air. It's here where we are here. This is the first. It has to be our first priority, and this is for free. No, it's for free. And it's still for free. And if you think about that, we will. Lots of things for free. We'll be there. So don't occupy yourself about the material, because very often somebody will just want to sell something to you, So don't go for that. Continue working about this, about the nothingness. First of all, organize us in different way, construct together in different way, doing things, experiences, things, all these things that are invisible things, all this interactive, or come back again. Take that part and do it together. Yeah, because of course, still our apples are still for free, but not very long time, because we don't have any bees anymore. This is in China. This is a very old image. But there are lots of Chinese who can work like bees. But could you imagine if we're going to pollinize all the flowers? It's a lot of work to do. So economy and equality, economy and generosity. Yeah, this is how you see that. This is how the material and how lots of buildings. This is a photo of me actually. It's my first architectural experience when I was 3 years old, and I'm very happy that this happened to me, because I can immediately see, when I see a building and when I see a city, I can immediately see if this city or this building is done to control you, and I feel like this completely, that you can't move, that somebody is not. And of course our city has to be constructed to be free, not to feel like this. And this free is not something that somebody just will give it to you. Free is a vector, it's a force, so it's something that we have to work to find every day, every morning that we go up. The free is to have to work, and everybody is not just architects.